Okay, so we're gonna do an update on the cab over. I wish we had the luxury of having a crew here all day filming this thing as we do process. But we're gonna skip through it, and you missed out on all the work. So I'm gonna make it look easy, just like everybody does on their social media. It's only the highlights. So we're gonna show you the highlights of what's happened here, not the actual real work. But it has been, we've gone through some process on this truck. I'm sure you guys remember the motor sitting up a lot higher. It was probably up this high. It was more to angle. The reason why I did that originally is because we really wanted the industrial motor to stick out. We wanted to show that 12 valve that people don't see, and we wanted to show it off. Now what we're doing is we're making a car hauler out of this truck. And the important thing is try to keep the weight as far down into the truck as we can, so this thing doesn't sway while it's going down the road. Because if you got a car way up here, all that top weight is swaying. What we're trying to do is get it down here. I'd like to have the little motor, because this is a 6-cylinder, the little Joe truck that's going on here is a 4-cylinder. I'd like to see that motor probably no higher than that. Okay, so what I'm gonna do now is I've lowered the motor down quite a ways. These were the original motor mounts that were in it from day one. We've cut the bushing out and we got the Delran out of it because it's good stuff. We like to keep, if I can use it again on something else, I will, but it's all cut off. But basically it sat in here like this. If you remember right, there's our angle and it sat really high. We've got rid of that and went to an actual, the Cummins motor mount that comes with the 12 valve. We put it back in here and it bolts right onto the engine block down in here. And then basically built some new motor mount off the frame and kind of made them look really nice. Now the motor sits down. The next thing that I had to do here is build a transmission mount for this 47. Now, what we had was a turbo 400 in it, and the problem is you got a tire this short with a turbo 400 in it. You're not going to go down the highway really fast. I mean, stoplight to stoplight, the thing was great. But, you know, he plans on going to car shows with this thing and wants to drive it. So an overdrive transmission is key. So I found, actually Mark that owns this truck now, found us a 47 RH transmission. I had it directly shipped to Merlin Johnson. Merlin built the transmission, and we got we're gonna flip switch it with the converter lockup. So it'll go through the first 3 gears, flip a switch, and it locks up the converter with our overdrive, and it'll just muscle down the highway perfectly. Also with that, I measured the driveline length here. Merlin's gonna build me a driveline. In that process of waiting, I've got us a pretty beefy little transmission mount here, as you can see. So it's bolts to the frame. This whole thing will come out. So if you ever have to service something or pull the motor out, all this stuff is removable. These are pretty much the mock-up stages that we're in right now. This will probably come out and get painted or powder coated yet. I don't know what we're gonna do with it. You know, all this is gonna come back out because we gotta put a transmission in it. And we also have to paint all that stuff in there anyway. So that's gonna come out. I think you guys probably remember us having the transmission, the radiator in the front of this thing. I cut all that out. So basically, if you remember the front of this piece was sitting way up here with an ugly radiator in it. And it just looked bad. We had all the wires up here, got rid of all the wiring. And I chopped this down, put some rivets in it, tried to make it look nice. The grill support right here was just kind of ugly, so I dimple dyed it. And then we cleaned it up, trimmed it, put some trim in there. And as you can see down inside of here, I built a battery box. And so the batteries are gonna run up here. So I'm almost thinking about just, you know, we could just run this in an EV, electric vehicle. No, we're not doing that. But anyway, here's the batteries up here. It's all mounted down, everything's secure. And now we can run our main power from here back and clean this whole front up. And I'm still gonna work on some stuff. I wanna cover this up with something cool, make it look a little bit better. But this just cleaned up the whole front end. It looks a lot better even with the hood off. So when he opens the hood, before we were on a really strict budget, and everything that we put into this truck, we saved out of the old motorhome and used it in here. So the radiator that was in this was actually the old radiator out of the motorhome, and it fit, so we just left it and went with it. Now that, you know, we have a little bit more budget to work with on this truck, I have the time to cut this down, clean it up, and make it look a lot better. So that being said, where did the radiator go? Well, we moved the radiator down here. So as you can see, this is the radiator now, and I've put the intercooler in there and the condenser for the air conditioning. I'm gonna lift this truck up so we can get in there and really get a look at it.